at this time for her to give a round of applause. Let the boys sit. All right, so we definitely wanted to bring Dr. Warren and her family. Chris is her husband, Stephen, Hayden, and Nolan are her boys that are here today. And we wanted to talk to them a little bit about the lifestyle and how they were introduced and to give you a real perspective on their journey and how it really has impacted people here locally and also such a reputable source. So thank you, Dr. Warren, for being here and being with us today. You know, if you want to get us started, I'd love to hear just kind of how you started your journey and kind of how it brought you to where you are today.
Awesome, thank you, John. We're super excited to be here. It's kind of a surreal day for us as a family because the last year has been super transformational for us. So just to give you a little history about me, because I know some of you out there, you know, you probably haven't battled with your weight your whole life. You know, maybe it came after you had kids or after you got really busy or a certain age. So for me personally, my weight has been something that I have thought about or dealt with since I was like 12. It's always been something that I dealt with daily. So, you know, I can't remember a time when I was less, you know, smaller than a size 10 from the time that I was 12. So I am a pretty determined person, and my weight is the one thing that I never could conquer, I guess, like 100%. So like even when I was in dental school, like my best friend was one of those people who was super skinny, never had to think about what she ate, and I used to think, man, like I would have so much more time or energy to focus if I wasn't constantly thinking about what I was going to eat or what my weight was or if my clothes were going to fit the same this week as they did last week. So so that's kind of been my history. Chris kind of has a different history. He played collegiate football and he was, you know, super skinny, and so his weight issue did not really come about until he started working a sedentary job. So our histories, you know, are a little bit different, but really it was our kids who really motivated us to look for change. So like I said, I was used to dealing with my weight. I had kind of accepted that it was my cross to bear. So I had a great life. I have this, you know, I'm a cosmetic and family dentist. I have a hugely successful practice, and I was happy. But at my heaviest weight, about 2 years ago, I was 240 pounds. So, and I was pushing a size 18. And I didn't realize, but I mean, I felt terrible. So I would wake up tired, and I was going to the doctor, and she was telling me, well, you know, you're 40, whatever, and you're working all the time, this is how you're supposed to feel. But I knew that there was more to life, and I wanted more. So, so like I said, like it was, I thought I was doing everything right. Like when I was in high school and college, the whole theory was low fat, high carb, and I did it. I mean, I did Nutrisystem, I did Weight Watchers. I mean, I had just never been able to conquer it. So to put it in perspective, we got busy, and we were involved in travel baseball, and our kids are doing golf, and life kind of took over us, but we all kind of got fat. And so that kind of peaked when we ended up in Louisville at the pediatric endocrinologist with our youngest son. So, I tell people that no one really saved all of our lives. So, and it's a super emotional thing, but so we came home from that appointment, and me as a mom, like I could fail myself my whole life, but I'm not going to fail my kids. So, I was like, we're doing something about this, and luckily, Kate was in my office probably a week after that, and I just walked in the waiting room, and I mean, no offense to Kate, but I had heard Kate, I had heard Kate talk a lot about the ketogenic diet, ketones, and whatever. So her and Jackson were sitting in my waiting room, and I don't know, something just hit me, and I was like, okay, so tell me what you're doing. And so she kind of briefly told me. And I walked back, and so I thought about it for like the next couple of days. I mean, I really didn't have anything to lose because I had done everything else and it wasn't working for my family. And then Jason was in maybe a week later, I don't know, within the next couple of days, and Kate's always excited, right, and always passionate. And so Jason comes back into my operatory, and he is like on fire. I mean, he is so excited. And I mean, I'm kind of a science nerd, right? Like, so I have a biology and chemistry major, but he is just like nonstop talking for 30 minutes about the science of ketones and ketosis, and I'm loving it. So like I'm absorbing all this, and I'm 30 minutes behind on the rest of my patients for the rest of the day, but I'm like, so I'm like, okay, tell me what to buy, what are we gonna do, and so that's kind of how we got started. It was through them sharing their story, and then the other thing, so my boys play golf, and Stephen is a sophomore when we first started this journey. And I spent my whole summer trying to help him mentally get to the place of his best self. Like I wanted him to realize his fullest potential, and Hayden too. And so one day I just thought like, okay, so here I am expecting my kids to make straight A's, to say no to drugs and alcohol, to say no to sex, like to use all this willpower, and I have to do the same thing for myself. So introspectively do that. Hayden has been our beacon of self-discipline from the very beginning. Like even before we started officially all participating, Hayden has researched that he's this like plethora of knowledge with regards to nutrition labels. And so we joke now, because if we're wondering about label, we're like, send a picture of Hayden. So if it's Hayden approved, it's all good. But it has seriously transformed the life of our family, and I know that it will have an impact on my kids' career paths.
Amazing. You know, and I personally relate very much to your story because we have 3 boys.
Yeah.
I do now. So it's incredible to see how far that your family has come and the transformations you made as a whole. So for those of us who are on this journey, and some of us may be new, tell us kind of what your first steps were. What are some of the things that you did first or that we could replicate as well?
So initially, I just started drinking the drinks. And I kind of said, okay, so tell me simply, what do you eat or not eat? And so it was a very short conversation. I went home, cleaned out my pantry from bread, potatoes, rice, sugar. Cleaned it out. I mean, I think we had 4 trash bags or whatever. And we drank the drinks. I did not force it upon my kids because I wanted it to be something they chose themselves. And I was always the one who was like, okay, I can go eat Oreos in the closet. If mom doesn't see me, then it's not bad, right? So I wanted my kids to know why they were doing it. So I just started drinking the drinks. We really weren't, like, Chris wasn't fully on board for about, I don't know, 6 months, but I just started drinking the drinks, cutting carbs slightly. So Katie kind of told me, you know, kind of how they modeled their initial journey as well, and I never counted a thing. I'm still to this day, I've never checked to see whether I'm in ketosis. I have never counted macros. I started adding fat back into my diet and just gradually cutting carbs.
Great, I think those are some great tips. I walked back to talk to Lauren after Dr. Harmon spoke, and she said, we're going to throw everything away tonight. So no more goldfish for the boys. So
right, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what those challenges were in the beginning, you know, for some of those in here that may be experiencing those challenges now. What were some of the challenges that you experienced kind of transitioning to the ketogenic lifestyle?
I honestly did not have any challenges with the lifestyle per se as far as food goes. I felt my diet had been so fat deprived for so many years that I felt like my body jolted back into a metabolism. So very quickly I felt 20 years younger. I mean, but you know, my kids initially for a week or so, I mean, complained about not having syrup or whatever, but we just didn't have it in the house. But I never had any challenges really with the drinking drinks or the food changes. my biggest challenges, honestly, if you think of the last year, has been my size has changed so drastically and quickly that I was constantly going through going, oh my gosh, like my work pants don't fit anymore. Like, so I've gone from a size 18 to a size 4 within, 8 to 12 months.
Sure.
So I've had to change change that a lot. And the other thing is family, or people who aren't fully in support of it. It's really challenging, and we've all become very passionate about it. And we have family members who have MS and epilepsy, and we're kind of crazy about the science of it now. And so it's kind of disheartening when you're trying, you know how much better you feel. So, so that's probably been the biggest challenge. But as far as we travel a lot, and from a food perspective, it has not been hard at all.
That's great. I've noticed, just since we've started the lifestyle, that there are choices no matter where you go.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that you can do that. Dr. Warren, if you don't care, I'd love to get the boys' perspective as
Yeah,
far as
sure.
with it on if you all just kind of want to go down the line with the mic, because we've heard a little bit about your story, but I'd love to know kind of what your favorite benefits are and what you've seen, and just a little
Who wants to
gist.
start?
Yeah, so for me, getting started, I was looking for my golf game, started struggling like probably a year and a half ago. So I was looking for more focus, that kind of thing. And after learning about it, seeing that, mental connectivity in your brain and everything is gonna, increase dramatically, I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And so we got into it, and it was unbelievable. My golf game started elevating. It was great. I felt so good. I was going to the gym more. Like, my mom had been on me for 6 months. You gotta start doing cardio, and it was like, as soon as I started taking it, I went to the gym. I ran 5 miles that night. I remember we were down in Florida, and it was amazing. So it's been just like a journey of better and trying, and you learn about it. And this thing, what is it? Is it helping you or not? And you cut it out of your diet. It's been awesome. So for me, that's been the main thing.
That's great. Wonderful.
Favorite flavors? For me, my favorite flavor is Blue Ocean.
That's
I love that. I love it.
Absolutely. So the exogenous ketones that everybody in the family takes on, correct? Awesome. So what's your favorite flavor?
My favorite flavor is probably the Splash.
Awesome. Splash. And splashes in the back to taste test. Awesome. So tell us what your favorite benefits that you've seen so far.
Probably more energy and focus, and then like fat loss. So I started taking them during basketball season when we had practices, and it was hard, and so I didn't like being the last every time. So.
Yeah. You're going to up that game.
Yeah.
Great. So what about you? What's your favorite benefits and your favorite flavors?
Yeah, my favorite flavor is lime. And my favorite benefit is just the increased energy. I remember, like, when we all first started, my mom probably started taking them a week earlier than every Friday. And one night she was gonna go to the gym, and she was like, "Hey, you wanna go with me?" And I was like, "No, I don't have the energy." And I just thought that was crazy that my 45-year-old mom, 44-year-old mom had the energy to go to the gym than I did. So that's where I started. This was amazing.
That's great. So if you don't care, pass it back to your dad. Chris, I would love to hear from a father's perspective. How has this impacted your family and your eyes?
So I'm going to start back. You see some of the slides. In 1996, I was in a house fire and should have died. The fireman, Bill Van, he's chief here now, he kicked me and got me back to life. So I was given this great life and great family. And through the years, life happened, work happened. I worked in an office. In my first job, I look back and I went in every morning with snack oil cookies and ate those throughout the day and thought, I'm doing good. Well, I wasn't. And I was a college athlete, so I thought, I can always exercise and battle. Like, there's nothing I can't overcome. But when you've got a job and family and sports and, busyness of life, helping your wife run her practice and help out there, It just overtook me. And mine kind of came to a head last year. Valerie was building a new office, and I was trying to be involved with that after working, 8-hour day with a 40-minute commute to Henderson. And I could not keep up. I was in a bad mood. Our marriage was struggling. My relationship with the boys was struggling. I took Hayden to Lake Mary, Florida for a golf tournament last August. Hayden thought he was coming back to Owensboro on that Allegiant flight by himself because I barely made it. I'm talking walking a golf course, watching your son play, and I could not, I literally wanted to die. I'm expecting him to go out there and compete against some of the best players in the country, and I was not being a role model. So I got back the 1st of September. They're all kind of on board and rolling. And I kept telling myself that I just need to work out. I just need to eat a little better. I could not get there because, again, busyness of life happened. So it was Halloween. I stepped on the scales and I was 280. And I decided to give it 30 days. I was going to take these drinks for 30 days. And I think Valerie went shopping maybe the day after Thanksgiving. She came home and she said, where you been? I said, well, I went out for a jog. It was really a fast walk at that point. But to me, it was a marathon.
You came back a lot.
I came back. So I came back, and from then on, it's just been unbelievable. And today I stepped on the scales, 222. I feel phenomenal. I'm a better role model for them. I expect a lot out of these guys, and I've picked up my game, and they've led the way too. I mean, they've been unbelievable. So it's just been an awesome story.
Great, thanks for sharing that, Chris. And I know that for me and my family and for numerous families, we would love to see this happen, just as a role model to other families now that you get to do that. So Chris, what would be your biggest advice, or what would you tell someone who's like, that keto stuff or that keto lifestyle? What would be your kind of saying to them about getting off the fence and doing something about it?
So I was there. Jason and Kate were nice enough to invite us to a talk last year where Derek Anderson came and spoke, and I left there. I did not. I pushed it away. I left there thinking, it's silly. You don't need to do that. And when I was in Florida with Hayden, it's funny, but I look back and there's a national restaurant chain, and you get free ice cream, and I would leave the golf course. We went there like 4 times that trip. I ate the ice cream as soon as I walked in the door. That was my meal. And so again, I got back, I tried the drink, and it's just giving it a chance. It was 30 days for me where I didn't change anything else. I started drinking Proof It, and the results are here.
And I can kind of supplement that a little bit with how much effect it has had on other areas of our life. So not just weight loss or health. It has impacted every aspect of our life, from my practice to Chris deciding he wanted more out of life and quitting his job and being here in Owensboro now. What I can give patients and the connection that I have with patients. And it didn't go further, sugar and dentistry, and there's a whole connection there as well. So it has impacted our life, and Kate, has given us. I'm so thankful, and that's providing that community is so helpful. But she's given me little tidbits along the way, as far as listening to TED Talks or this particular speaker, and that has impacted our life greatly. My kids have this insane passion and knowledge of brain health and all of this the science about it, and that's invaluable because that's something they'll take with them forever. So, so it's exciting. It's super exciting. And I guess, I have a lot of people who really analyze and they want to say, well, is it safe? Is it, and so my response is always like, how critical are you being of everything else you're eating? Like, is that Diet Coke safe? So for us, the results are undeniable. We've lost 250 plus pounds together, and we've gained like this crazy, insane life.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that
thanks.
the benefits go beyond fat loss, go into your complete lifestyle and the way that you all live. So thank you all very much.
Thank you for having
being with
us.
today. Everybody, at this time, we're going to bring up Mr. Logan Roberts when he has a second. We are going to transition. Did everybody like hearing a little bit about the lifestyle from a family's perspective? They really resonate with me.